Germany has deported at least 137 Nigerians in 5 documented chartered operations between February and June 2026. According to figures contained in reports monitored by the DERS team and refugees.org, the numbers reveal a growing pattern in Germany's enforcement of migration decisions involving Nigerian citizens, with deportation flights bringing dozens of Nigerians back to Lagos in organized operations. But behind the numbers are individual stories involving families, people who have spent years in Germany, vulnerable migrants, and in at least one reported case, a deportation that was later reversed. So what exactly is happening? And what does the rising number of charter deportation mean for Nigerians living in Germany or hoping to travel there? The first documented operation took place on February 18, 2026. 27 Nigerians arrived at Lagos Cargo Airport following a deportation flight from Germany. According to refugees.org, the flight was operated by World 2 Fly and departed Stuttgart before arriving in Lagos shortly before 2 p.m. Germany was the main country enforcing the operation, although one person described as severely ill and mentally unfit was reportedly transferred from Slovakia and included in the flight. Baden-Württemberg was identified as the major participant in the operation, with Stuttgart having also hosted a previous deportation operation to Nigerians in December 2025. But the February operation raised concerns beyond the number of people returned. Reports monitored by The Punch alleged that some of those deported had serious health conditions, while others had lived and worked in Germany for several years. One particularly striking case involved a single mother and her 3 children from the Sindelfingen district of Stuttgart. According to the reports, the family was deported despite reportedly possessing documentation relating to their resident status. The case took another turn after intervention by a volunteer and confirmation from local foreign authorities that the deportation had reportedly been carried out in error. The family subsequently returned to Germany. That case highlights one of the biggest concerns surrounding deportation policies: whether every individual case is properly reviewed before a person is removed from a country. The February operation also coincided with the Nigerians' participation in preparations for the voluntary national review of the Global Compact for Migration ahead of the 2026 International Migration Review Forum in New York. The DERS team reportedly said Nigerian government agencies did not send representatives to receive the deportees at the airports. It further alleged that the returning Nigerians were transported away from the airport without adequate assistance. Then came another major operation in March. On March 10, 50 people were deported to Nigeria through a joint European operation hosted by Germany. Germany accounted for 37 of those deportations, while Spain, Austria, and Belgium also participated. According to the figures cited in the reports, the March operation represented the largest single deportation involving Nigerians in the 3-year period referenced by the reports. But Germany did not stop there. On April 9, another 24 Nigerians were deported. This operation involved a chartered flight from Frankfurt organized through Frontex and German authorities. The group reportedly included women and a minor. Another 23 Nigerians were returned to Nigeria in May. Then on June 17, another 26 Nigerians arrived in Lagos following another chartered deportation flight. When the 5 operations are combined, the number reaches at least 137 Nigerians deported from Germany between February and June 2026. That means, on average, more than 27 Nigerians were returned in each of the 5 documented operations. The figure also shows how European countries are increasingly using coordinated and chartered operations to enforce migration decisions. For Nigerians, however, the issue goes beyond statistics. Germany remains an important destination for Nigerians seeking education, employment, family opportunities, and a better economic future. But migration rules are strict. and people whose application for residence or protection fail can eventually face removal. This year, the distinction between legal migration and irregular migration becomes particularly important. Not every Nigerian deported from Europe necessarily committed a criminal offense. Some deportations can result from failed asylum claims, expired residence permits, rejected applications, or other immigration decisions. That is why migration experts and rights advocates have repeatedly argued that every case should be assessed individually and that vulnerable people should receive appropriate protection. The reports surrounding the German deportation also raise questions about the support available to Nigerians after they arrive home. Being returned to Nigeria after spending years abroad can create enormous social and economic challenges. Some returnees may arrive without employment, accommodation, savings, or a clear plan for rebuilding their lives. Others may have family members still living abroad, making their sudden separation even more difficult. At the same time, European governments argue that immigration rules must be enforced and that deportations are part of the process when people no longer have a legal basis to remain. Germany is therefore balancing two competing demands: enforcing its immigration laws while ensuring that removals are lawful, properly reviewed, and carried out with appropriate safeguards. The reported case of the family that returned to Germany after intervention also demonstrates why those safeguards matters. If a person has legal documentation, or if any administrative error has occurred, deportation can have consequences that are extremely difficult to reverse. For Nigerians watching these developments, the message is clear. Anyone planning to travel to Germany should understand the condition attached to their visa or residence status and comply with the country's immigration requirements. Those already living in Germany should also pay close attention to their resident documents, deadlines, appeals, and legal obligations. The increasing use of charter deportation flights means that immigration enforcement is not simply a political talking point. It is affecting real Nigerians and their families. And with at least 137 Nigerians reportedly returned in just 5 months, the scale of the operation deserves serious attention. The debate now is not simply about how many Nigerians Germany can deport. It is also about whether every deportation is carried out fairly, whether vulnerable people receive adequate protection, and whether those returning to Nigeria receive meaningful support. Migration will continue to shape the relationship between Nigeria and Europe, but as deportation operations become more organized and frequent, Nigerians seeking opportunities abroad will need to understand one important reality. Having a destination in mind is not enough. Legal status matters, documentation matters, and once a deportation decision becomes enforceable, the consequences can be life-changing. If you find this report informative, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss important updates on Nigeria, international affairs, immigration, and major developments affecting Nigerians around the world. Share this report with family and friends, especially Nigerians living in Germany or planning to travel there, and let us know in the comments. Do you think Germany's deportation policy is being enforced fairly, or should more safeguards be introduced for vulnerable Nigerians? I'm Chidera Isom. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next report.